So yesterday I was all hyped up watching the Fortnite live event. Dr. Doom came to the island. He was huge. We had an amazing cutscene. Everything went down, and then I was ridiculously happy with the event. It exceeded every single little bit of expectations that I had, but to my surprise, which is my fault, I should not have been surprised, the Fortnite community online was going crazy about the event being boring, it's sucking, and we are going to have a huge Twitter drama video for you today. Today we're going to be taking a look at everybody's reaction online and what they had to say, because there are a lot of people who didn't like the event. There's a lot of people who liked the event. I'm here to recap it for you. We're going to get into all of that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, before we get into those tweets, I'm going to give my thoughts on the event. If you don't want to hear just my thoughts and get straight to the tweets, you can skip a couple minutes. But anyways, like and subscribe. Thank you for being here. So I loved it. I loved the event. And it's important to note, okay, if this was advertised as a regular live event, something like the Big Bang was supposed to be, something like Fractured, obviously this event would have been horrible. But to be just to have a mini event from everything that we've had through chapter 5 so far, this was an absolute banger. I expected very little. I expected something along the lines of what we had before the cutscene, like everything up there, like, okay, the beacons got activated, they're shooting at Dooms, or that POI, the name's escaping me at the moment, where Mephisto's supposed to spawn, everything's shooting there, and then I thought the event would end. If I had to predict something, seeing all that, that's what I would have predicted. But then Dr. Doom came in, we had a cutscene, which was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Can I say, by the way, the teaser was so good. It was like, something that I was worried about, by the way, is it was all like gloomy. Something was coming. We heard the steps, which ended up being Doom, but it wasn't just music. Like, something is obviously coming. The cutscene, the trailer for it was peak, and the cutscene itself was phenomenal, man. Dr. Doom came in. Hope saved the day. We saw Hope's arm burned, and to be honest with you, I thought it was a little bit funny when Dr. Doom grabbed her, but we had like a little interaction with Hope and Jonesy. I love the way they did it all, and to top it all off, they had a community event, something that everybody has loved throughout the entire history of Fortnite. But we all had to take down Dr. Doom. He had what, trillions of health, and then we took him down really quick. Of course, I thought after playing the event that I was supposed to kill Dr. Doom in the one game that I'm playing, but it's also important to note that we don't know if the story of Dr. Doom's concluded yet. But regardless, to my surprise, which is my fault again, I should not have been surprised. The Fortnite community online has been freaking out about it. Every single place you find a tweet about the live event, it's something along the lines of, this sucks, dead game, that was the most boring thing I've ever played, things like that. So the tweets that I'm going to present to you today, they are going to be a little bit more on the positive side with some criticism as well. I'm just going to reply to, and I wanted to bring in anything that I really found interesting that I came across, because I had a long day watching fights, and I was on Twitter in between fights. I was watching my family. I'm recording this at night, by the way, that you're seeing it. I had a very long day. It is currently 2:17 a.m. in the morning. I'm excited to record this video. I don't want to sound all gloomy for you guys, but with that being said, let's get into all the tweets for today. I want to bring you over to HypeX first. 5,700,000 plus people attended this Fortnite mini event. That is absolutely incredible. I have no idea what the numbers were for this event, but what the numbers are for typically for these events, but man, that is an incredible number for a Marvel mini event. So I want to continue on and take a look at some of these tweets. Rahid Fortnite had this to say: I hope Fortnite sees that events are truly the magic of the game and we see more of them. Now, when people talk about Fortnite losing its identity, losing the magic that they once had, I do agree that community events, live events, even these mini events that we're getting, like if we can't get live events, that still sucks. But if it's the reality of the situation, having a mini event every season is perfect for me. I am a-okay with that, because every single one of them, in my opinion, has been an absolute banger, and this one just completely knocked it out of the park. I loved it, and this really was the magic of the game. True Fortnite fans, and I know there are outliers, that's something we're going to continue to talk about throughout the video, but true Fortnite fans really come together, and it's a really, really fun time for the community. So I understand all of the business things that Epic Games had to go through this year, the decisions they've made. I'm typically pro-business in that sense. I look at it from Epic's perspective, but if I was in charge, even if it means sacrificing profit a little bit, I would cater to the hardcore community like this and give us these types of community events. So Aiko had this to say: one of the best mini events. We had a story cinematic, voice lines, and a community event. What more could you ask for? This is where I don't understand why people are so upset about it. Like, did people expect this to be like some grand live event, something like the Chapter 2 finale? This is literally kind of like a mini version of the Chapter 2 finale. It's important to remember that Fortnite themselves didn't hype this up. everybody else online did. Again, this exceeded my expectations. This is what I've been saying before the event actually started. Keep your expectations in check. And now that my expectations were so low, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a mini event. What am I going to see? Like Dr. Doom swing a sword? Something along those lines, you know, kind of like the events that we've seen. I expect something to be on par that we've seen throughout the entirety of Chapter 5 right now. And I'm incredibly happy with it. So, Aiko's one of the best members in the community, man. And this is something that I did want to include. The top reply over to Aiko is, found the Glazer. These are the types of things you see against anybody who has been enjoying the event. Just because you like something doesn't mean you're a Glazer. And I know you might be commenting down below saying just because you didn't like something doesn't make you a hater. I understand that. We're going to get into that a little bit more. But for the most part, it sucks to see people like Aiko appreciating things like this, and then everybody just says, oh my god, you're bought and sold by Epic Games, you just need a job and this means everything to you, so you're gonna glaze Fortnite. And like, it's the things like that, and it's just people who don't really know what they're talking about. Do people like that exist? I'm sure they do, but it's too many assumptions. Like, Aiko is one of the best in the community. So Aiko did end up replying to this, and this is something that I want to take a look at. A few threads for today. Not even glazing. I've heavily criticized Epic's work in the past, but this was objectively the best mini event that we've ever had. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. And I posted on Twitter, I'm going to get into my own tweet, that I said also, this was objectively good. And everybody was like, well, not, of course, I know. There was a few replies where it's like, well, no, actually, it's subjective. No, it was objectively good. It had everything that we could ever want for a mini event, and that makes it objectively good. They've had everything that everybody's been asking for over the years. It was an objectively well-structured, well-delivered event. Can you not like it? Absolutely you can. But the event, it was good. And I also think it's important for people, and this is why I like Aiko so much, is because I relate to Aiko a lot in the sense where I am pretty positive about this game. I'm pretty appreciative for Epic Games. I'm not just saying, of course, like it's us too. I just, you know, it's sad that I have to pick apart this sometimes because I know somebody's going to comment down below saying that, but it's obvious. So this is something that I get a lot, to be honest with you. I get people calling me Glazer all the time, and to an extent, I kind of understand that, but I really do criticize the game when I feel it's necessary to criticize a game. I've been very consistent in disliking a lot of things about Chapter 5, but people kind of ignore that, and people ignore that when it comes to Aiko as well. So I understand, and it's sad that people don't really see, like, this guy might not even know Aiko, right? Found the Glazer. You don't see all of the things that Aiko talks about that he doesn't like as well. I think that's very important for the people criticizing others online. Anyways, let's continue on to what I actually had to say. It's probably my biggest tweet ever, actually, to be honest with you. Epic can't win, man. And I tweeted this right after the live event because I opened Twitter, but I was waiting for my YouTube video to process. I was like, dude, what are people seeing about this? I couldn't believe it. For a mini live event, that was objectively good. Everyone loved the lasting effects back when they did it in Chapter 1 and with Pandora's Box. Can't believe I'm seeing so much negativity. Thank you so much, Epic devs. So that is something that I don't think I've mentioned in this video so far. Everybody loved it in Chapter 1, Season 8. Everybody loved it in Pandora's Box. Why is this so different? I think it's awesome that we have to come together and kill Dr. Doom. A shared experience with the community? That's something that everybody's been asking for. And what's the big deal? So what, it's in your game? And I've seen that too. People talk like, well, now we have to deal with this giant thing in the game. This is why Doom couldn't have spawned more in games, because we would have had more of this type of conversation. Ridiculous, man. The hypocrisy is insane. Let's continue on. Carlo had this to say: all of the Chapter 5 mini events were outstanding and better than the Big Bang and Fracture, and that's also incredibly true. The Hand and Day of Doom being community events is so good because it brings the community together. People loved it in Chapter 5 Season 1. I don't know why they don't like it now. Anyway, the event was a solid 9 out of 10. So this is something that I forgot to mention is I actually like this event, and if you want to talk to me about being a Glazer, I've heavily criticized Fractured. I didn't criticize the Big Bang that much. Don't get me wrong. Didn't like the Big Bang that much, but I was expecting nothing from the Big Bang. I was expecting it just to lead into Chapter 6 and nothing else. So I ended up enjoying the experience for that reason. I didn't have high hopes for it. But Fractured, man, that was hands down one of the worst things that Epic Games has ever done. I was thinking about making a tier list video actually soon because I talk so positively about this game. So why not make a tier list on like the worst things that Epic Games has ever done, the worst updates, things that I really hated. If you guys are interested in that, let me know down below in the comments. But anyways, I really agree with what Carlo had to say here. It brings the community together. People don't like it now. And why don't people like it now? Of course, because it's just people in general. As time goes on, people are getting more and more miserable, and misery loves company. They'll post about it online, and people who are miserable outside of Fortnite will be miserable inside of Fortnite, and there is no pleasing them. Can you dislike the event? Last time I will say it. Yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but the vast majority of people that I'm seeing hating on this are just hating it because they're reading it somewhere else and they can't really think for themselves and they're upset and nothing else will ever make them happy. That, or they had too high of expectations, which is also something that you shouldn't have done, but it's not really like too criticism worthy. Let's continue on. There is a little bit of a thread with what Carlo had to say over here. A teardrop had this to say. Comparing dog crap like Chapter 5 events to worst dog crap like Fracture isn't as good of a comparison as you think it is. The worst Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 event wipes the floor with whatever the hell we've been getting this chapter, but people act like you will see the most mediocre crap ever and still glaze. You know what's fun? It's crazy the arrogance in some people, you know? It's insane. But anyways, Carlo ended up responding to that, mediocre crap, and it's the toughest crap ever. Stop complaining and enjoy something. Fracture was dog crap, and the Big Bang was fine, but calling all to Chapter 5 events dog crap is absolutely insane. You probably expected a full-ass 6-minute event or something. Again, it's a mini event. I don't understand why everybody is sitting down and we're like, oh, well, it was a shooting simulator. It was not. We got a cutscene, we got voice lines, we got storyline development. You can criticize the way it ended. I understand criticizing the way that the story kind of concluded with Dr. Doom, but even then, it's not for sure that we're done with the story of Doom. And you could look at it, to be honest with you, from a standpoint of, well, Epic Games is just throwing us for a loop. Maybe the Mephisto storyline is going to be awesome. Maybe the Chapter 2 OG storyline is going to be awesome. Maybe, maybe not. If it ends up just the storyline not being so great for the rest of the season and Dr. Doom just got rifted away just from this event, yeah, I'll be here criticizing that decision with you. But anyways, let's continue on. One of our favorite people, PBJ, had this to say. Everyone in my chat was hating on it, but kids are now just impatient. I think it was epic, and it's sick that everyone gets to participate over the week. It was supposed to be a little while, but of course Doom is already defeated. Yep, I completely agree with that. I told PBJ that the parents need to take away their kids' phones. Let's continue on. Michael Struckman had this to say. It's important to remember that people who enjoy things aren't always vocal about it online. People who hate things rush to social media to complain about it. And I think that this is completely true. I think this is very important for everybody to remember. When I talk about the Fortnite community, I'm not talking about the player base. I'm talking about the online community. And that's something that I've been a little bit more clear of as of recently, because of course, like when I talk about the Fortnite community, I don't mean everybody ever, because the vast majority of Fortnite players, like, I don't even remember when the number Hypex said was playing. I don't even remember. Millions and millions, okay? The vast majority of those people are sitting down, playing their event, and enjoying their event, going, that was cool, maybe, or that was okay, or even, I didn't like it. The people who have nothing better to do are the ones on Twitter constantly complaining, replying to random people saying, stop glazing Epic Games. Tim Sweeney's an idiot. I know better than this billion-dollar company. I know better than everybody running Epic Games. Like, those are the people that are vocal. The vast majority of the public and, quite frankly, normal people are not online just crying and complaining. So I agree with that, and that's something that I think that people really do need to remember. Jojo Josiah, and we're going to take a look at another tweet from his as well. He had this to say, fighting Doom in a community-focused event will be top 10 favorite Fortnite memories for me forever now, dude. It's actually so insane to me how everyone could dislike that crap. I love these mini-events so much. I don't really get it either. The only thing that I could understand really not liking it is if you have nobody else to play with, and I don't mean that as an insult, because there are a lot of people where they don't have any friends that play the game anymore, and that part of the event is obviously like, okay, then I get it. For you, it might just be a shooting simulator. But for a lot of people, and I don't know what the ratio would be, but regardless, like, you have to appreciate the idea of this being a community event. You have to appreciate the idea that Epic Games was going for. Maybe they want you to go online, start commenting down below, start maybe making some friends in squad fills, because you are more than capable of doing all of that. It's a community event. I understand being detached from it. That's totally what I mean about it. But for the majority of the people that I've seen personally, like the people in my circle, everybody really, really likes community events. So that's the only thing that I wanted to say. Like, I'm talking specifically about Dr. Doom stomping around the island. That I understand people not really liking, okay? Let's continue on to Vigilant Cupcake. There's something I will always complain about when it comes to the events, and that's when I don't like when they do it twice for the different time zones, because I don't want to be up at 4 a.m. to experience it. I miss a lot of events because of time zones. It's really annoying. This is something also that I completely understand. And to be honest with you, I have conflicting feelings over, okay? I'm not saying this post is entitled, but there are people who do feel entitled to watching events. At the end of the day, you're not owed a time slot. None of us are owed a time slot. I've missed events before. I've missed new season launches before. It's just unfortunate. Now, it's tough because I really like these being a one-time experience. But this is coming from a position where in my time zone, I get to watch it in the afternoon. Typically, the event times are really good for me personally, but what about the rest of the world? That must be incredibly frustrating, right? Like this tweet said, they don't want to get up at 4 a.m. to experience it. It makes complete sense to me. Why would you? It sucks. And for only one play, and especially since we've seen them do things like with the concert live events, they have different time slots. It's tough how I feel about that, and maybe that's a good reply room topic one day, because if they were to replay it more than once, then it would take away from kind of the spectacle of it. You know, so I'm actually more so on the side of only one showing, make this a one-time event for some people to experience, right? Whoever can get in, can get in. Again, I've missed events and it sucks, but at the end of the day, it's a video game. But I totally 100% understand people being frustrated about this. And I'd love to know, what you guys think about that one, because I don't know what the common consensus on that one is. But anyways, let's continue on to Croissant. It's not even that it was bad, it's the fact that you were able to be killed during the event when everybody's trying to help kill Doom. Normally, I'm positive, but I can't lie, this event was trash in my opinion. I don't know how that's inherently negative. So, I'm going to disagree with you, the event was trash, but what I do understand too is that people getting frustrated about people just kill farming. I don't understand why people are like that. Again, just miserable people doing miserable things, of course, right? I don't get why Epic Games wouldn't turn killing off. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Take away everybody's guns, or if you get within that kind of Doom area, just make it so if you shoot somebody, nothing happens as if you were on their squad team. I can't make sense of that, and I don't understand why Epic Games wouldn't do that. I mean, just specifically for the event, but in a regular Battle Royale game after that, when Doom was supposed to keep spawning over and over again, then you can turn on the killing. But I don't recall if it was this tweet specifically, but I ended up replying to somebody saying a little bit sort of the same thing, because this is something that I've seen online a little bit, and I said something to the extent of, but then again, that is the Chapter 1 way that everybody misses so much, the Donald Mustard way, where you could kill, and I don't remember exactly what events you could kill, but it was something up until Chapter 1 Season 8, you know, the good old days that everybody talks about. This is the Chapter 1 style of doing things. This event was on par with something that you'd see in Chapter 1, so I don't mean to pick apart this tweet, it's something that I see online, and it's funny how you can relate that to Chapter 1 sometimes, but I do understand the frustration. I agree that Epic Games should have turned on killing, and it probably left a really sour taste in your mouth if you're somebody who did get killed during the event. I am fortunate enough to be able to play in a custom game. That I don't have that issue, and I'm very thankful for that, but I understand that that's a position that the vast majority of people are not in. I'm thankful that I'm able to get a custom key, right? And I can just load into a game by myself and not have to worry about that. If you take your time, sit down, wait all day for this event, wait for the countdown, queue up at the same time just for some loser to come and kill you, I understand being frustrated and having a bad taste in your mouth at that event. I get that. I think Epic Games moving forward should absolutely turn killing off. It doesn't make sense to me who made that decision, but regardless, we're going to continue on the tweets. By the way, guys, if you haven't liked the video, please hit like on the video, comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything. Now, let's take a look at what Clark Clint had to say. I think this live event showed me how unappreciative this community really is. It was not the greatest live event we've ever had. If you don't like it, that's also okay. But to say this is the worst event and it shows how Epic is lazy is insane to me. We went from no live events in Chapter 4 to getting a new event every season in Chapter 5, each one building on the last. We're getting a lot of what we've been asking for, but I don't feel like the player base is allowing themselves to enjoy it or even noticing the effort being put into everything. Once again, if you don't like it, that's fine, but not liking something is not the same as something being lazy or bad. This is what I've been saying, and I'll read that last part for you again. If you don't like it, that's fine, but not liking something is not the same as something being lazy or bad. Of course, I reread that and I completely butchered it, but you get the point. It's so true. It's so true. And that's what I said. This event was objectively good. I got a little bit of pushback on that one. No, it was objectively good. This was perfect. And Epic Games has been trying, and they've been doing a fantastic job. The care is still there. The love is still there. I always say that I can't imagine being a dev for this game. And then people come back and really, how desperate are you for an icon skin? Dude, at the end of the day, it's a video game, and I'm going to appreciate it for what it is. I'm not going to let a Fortnite event ruin my day, even if I didn't like it. It's crazy to me, the mindset of some people sometimes, man. You're allowed to dislike something. Exceptions to the rule definitely exist. I'm not saying if you dislike the event, you're being ungrateful or anything like that. But you can't call the event bad. You can't. I will stand on that hill. I don't care how subjectively you think that is. No, this was objectively good. But I think Clark put this in a really, really nice way, that Epic Games has been really turning it up throughout the chapter. And this is something that I've been saying throughout the chapter, that I think we're in a big transitional period for Fortnite. I think that it's going to take a little while for Epic Games to kind of get the hang of things, because they are going through a ton of changes. It's going to take time to adjust. Like everything else we talked about in the metaverse, I think that only Lego, I don't know about Rocket Racing, don't have necessarily a ton of hope for that one, but everything else that Epic Games has been pushing out will take time to build. It doesn't make sense why people are already jumping the gun and talking about how Epic Games doesn't care. Epic Games is so lazy. Tim Sweeney's evil. Tim Sweeney ruined everything, you know? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, dude. So we have Evanosaurus, who isn't, if I'm not mistaken, he's a dev. I don't know if he just works for Epic Games or if he's a dev himself. My apologies if I got that wrong. But anyways, he also had something to say, and this was a reply over to Clark. I also laugh every time I see people how lazy we are. If you only knew the ridiculous amount of time, effort, and work these things take to pull off. I can't begin to imagine. People act like it's so simple. It blows my mind, the people who, and you know what? I'll steal this again. I think I've repeated it in a video before, but going back, and I just read Clark's tweet, so it reminded me of it. He phrased this so perfectly, and it stuck with me forever. He said, and of course I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, who the hell are you to criticize this billion-dollar company and anything that Tim Sweeney does when you can't even run a business of your own? You can't even get 100 subscribers on your own YouTube channel. That's a business of your own. Who are you, and what place are you in your life to even think about criticizing somebody like Evanosaurus, who is working at Epic Games, somebody, and especially somebody like Tim Sweeney and Donald Mustard, who's accomplished more than you might ever in your entire life? Who are you? The audacity of some people, man, the arrogance of people online is ridiculous. And I know I'll get the comments saying that I'm arrogant. And to be honest with you, I do understand that pushback. I do get it. I'm not an arrogant person, but I understand how this can come off, because especially if I'm talking about people who didn't like the event, a lot of people who really didn't like the event might take this to heart, and I don't think that you should. I'm talking about like the entire community in general, but let's continue on either way. So Straw Desert did reply to Evan and said, real people who acknowledge and care for your craft can see how much effort is involved. I love all of you at Epic for what you've done. Always love Straw, super positive, and it's very, very nice to see the appreciation. And think about Evan's tweet, man, 300 likes. And I got that right as I was recording this video, right before. It's sad, man, and it's sad. Somebody who will say this is a dead game will get infinite amount of likes. Let's continue on to Justin Neagle. Everyone is in agreement that Fracture was bad, right? Yes. So why does this event get a free pass when it's essentially the same thing? Some dialogue, monotonous player action, cutscene. Same dialogue, monotonous player action, cutscene. Fracture at least had the objective that it was a variety of objectives, not a just shoot and find ammo. That's not what it was, though. That's dishonest. And this, again, was a mini event. Fracture was something that was objectively bad. The Big Bang, I don't know. The Big Bang was, I don't know if it was bad. It was a well-structured live event, so that one's a conversation for another time. But Fractured was objectively bad. That was advertised to be something grand. That was advertised to be something so much more than it was. It was advertised like this is going to be the big conclusion to the storyline. We didn't get that. Fractured was bad. And what this event had was no expectations, a little mini event, very little promotion from Epic Games besides like a 3-second teaser. What did you expect? Did you expect that to be at the same level as Fractured? No. How could you? How could you possibly expect that? We got the mini event. We got an amazing cutscene. And then we had a community event. That's not something to just complain about. Let's continue on to Jojo Josiah. And before we hear what Jojo had to say, because this one actually made me laugh, I do want to say one thing, guys. I'll keep it really quick. As you know, and I've been repeating it a little bit recently, I've recently started a family. I'm doing everything I can to work really hard online and in my real life with my real job to keep my wife and my baby at home, because it's been the greatest thing in the world. So I'm trying to make as much money as I can. So if you do not have a supporter creator code in the item shop that you're using, please consider using code Clen. Support me. That's what this is all for. I want my wife to live like a queen. I want my baby to have everything that she's ever wanted. I wanted to have more kids. So try to keep that quick. Sorry, if you are not using a supporter creator code, please consider using code Clen. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Let's continue on to what Jojo Josiah had to say. To anyone who didn't like the event, you are a little baby-backed bitch. The shit was awesome. Jojo's the only person. You want to hear something funny, actually? So, I meant to say, and we have a small group chat on Discord, okay? And what I meant to write, and I meant to write this in there, but I accidentally DM'd Jojo and I didn't notice. I was like, I find it so funny when Jojo calls people baby-backed bitch, because I've never heard anybody say that ever. I've never heard that term before, and JoJo's the only one. I've heard him say it like a little bit. So every time I see it, I kind of like, I don't like go, oh, that's so funny, but like I go like, you know, that kind of reaction to it. Like, because I can imagine the tone of voice, like, you're a baby back bit. That's a horrible impression of JoJo. But anyways, so I meant to send that in our group chat, and then I accidentally just DM'd it to JoJo. He goes, well, thank you, but why are we talking in the third person? So I hope that's funny to you guys and it just didn't sound stupid, but I thought it was pretty funny. Let's continue on to Jakey, one of my favorite people in the Fortnite community. To everyone at Epic that worked on this community event, I just want to say thank you. From the visuals, story continuation, music effects, etc. Not only did we get to see a cool cinematic, but now we have all of the powerful Doom boss on the map that us as a community has to defeat. We appreciate all of the work the whole team puts in. And guys, man, Jakey is one of the most appreciative members in the community, and he's just a really, really wholesome guy in general. So makes me smile seeing this over from Jakey, because I just know he sat down and I just know how much he enjoyed it. Like, the man's happiness, at least like from an outside perspective, because of course I don't know him in real life personally. It's just, I've had the pleasure of getting to know him. You should check out that interview, by the way. But it makes me happy seeing like Jakey, the type of person that Jakey is, sitting down like playing the game. I can just imagine the smile on his face, and it's really, really nice to see. Let's continue on to what Cyan had to say. Bring back seasonal story cutscenes. This Fortnite live event cinematic was a great example of why seasonal intro cinematics need to return fully. They make people way more attached to the game and its characters. Hope is finally more loved thanks to this. Now, I did want to react to Cyan's video talking about, which you guys should go watch, by the way, why Hope is exactly hated, and it's so true. Depending on who you talk to, I feel like within the Fortnite community, people like that Hope got a little bit more lore behind her, but man, the cutscenes are some of the greatest things that Epic Games has ever done, man. Like, this might be the highlight of Chapter 5 for me. Unless you want to talk about, like, actual additions to the gameplay. I'm trying to think of, like, storyline, trailers, events, things like that. This cutscene might be one of my favorite things to happen through Chapter 5. If we're including gameplay, I'm going to say Fortnite Reload was my favorite thing to come out, and then this cutscene. Like, Epic Games knocks it out of the park, man. Let's continue on. Cypher PK had this to say. That Fortnite event was honestly pretty cool. 7 years in, and no other game is doing live events like this. Can you believe we've been playing this game for 7 years, or a lot of us have been playing this game for 7 years? It's crazy to me that Epic Games is still going so hard, and Epic Games is still giving us brand new, unique experiences like this, and they've only been getting better over the years. I know we've had some bumps in the road in Chapter 5, but I'm very confident in Chapter 6 in the way that Epic Games will produce Fortnite. And if you guys remember, back in 2018, the game was on its last legs. And apparently, according to a lot of people online, it still is on its last legs, okay? That's some pretty strong legs if you ask me. Restro had this to say about the entire thing. The concept of fighting Doom throughout multiple matches is actually super sick. I love that, and I wish it lasted more. I wish it actually lasted, like, maybe it was intended for a week. I don't really know, but I thought it would have been really cool. Like, it's like a giant Klombo. Everybody loved Klombo. Klombo got angry sometimes. I know it's a little bit of an exaggeration. Like, Doom is a big version of Klombo, a more scary version of Klombo, but it's funny how the community likes one thing and hates another, but I understand it's a difficult thing to compare. I get that. I'm just saying, okay? I love the idea of this spreading throughout multiple matches, you know? That way, it's a cool update. It's a community event. Everybody can come together. Everybody can watch Doom's health bar together. It's a really wholesome thing. And Restro ended up saying something else that we're going to take a look at a little bit later down the line in this video. And he had a little bit of a thread that I wanted to include in this video because I appreciated what he said. So, Quantum Camper had this to say, 10 out of 10 live event. It had a beginning, middle, and an epic ending. It was interactive and collaborative and brought the entire Fortnite community together. I couldn't be happier with this. Thank you, Fortnite. Completely well said. 100%. I really appreciate this reply. It's always really, really nice to see people like this. So, Mysterio Medallion had this to say, Galactus event, fighting drones. Cube Queen event, fighting zombies and cutscenes. Doom, mini, get it through your head, mini event, fighting Doom and cutscenes and community working together. Don't call it trash while glazing the other two. For a mini event, this was great, and I hope Epic does more. Extremely well said. You know, the Cube Queen event, that remind me what people think about that event, by the way. What did people say about it? Oh yeah, it was the greatest event in Fortnite history and has never been topped. A lot of people have that as their #1 event, by the way. And this was a mini version of it. And I was just as satisfied with it. Incredible, man. Incredible. Very, very well said. So Cyan also had something else to say. Fortnite cooked. Remember, 1, Doom being rifted away does not mean he is done. He can just come back. 2, the actual big live event comes at the end of the season. I love the season so much. I completely forgot to mention that. Yeah, we got a mini event, by the way. We have storyline, we have Fortnitemares, and we have another actual live event. How could anybody have expected that to be big when we knew there was a big live event coming at the end? Okay, you know what? Maybe you didn't know that. Kind of fair, okay? I get that, but the vast majority of people knows that there's 2 live events still to come. At least 1, okay? And it's very important to note what Cyan said. Just because Doom rifted away doesn't mean he's done. I understand the criticisms for how this Doom storyline ended, but wait for that towards the end of the season. I'm saving my critiques for it for when I know that Doom isn't coming back for sure. That's what I'm going to do, and honestly, I think it's fair that you do the same. Grookymon had this to say, y'all, who else thought that was incredible? We got to team up and take down Doom, and in 45 minutes, best of the chapter. I don't get why people are complaining about it not being enough. When we knew it was a mini, and it's not even at the end of the season, I will defend this. I will sit here too and defend it as well. Let's continue on to, oh, and this is what I wanted to bring you to over to Restro because I thought he had a really, really, really cool thread. Let me take you through this, okay? Today's event was great, and for people complaining, don't you remember Chapter 4? We had absolutely nothing back then. This time we got a cinematic, tons of voice lines, and an awesome boss fight event. It's okay if you disagree with how it ended. Just don't be rude about it. Yeah, you have people like insulting the devs still, man. Thank God nobody got doxxed. Thank God. Restro, continue on. I always support respectful and valid criticism. Could the event outcome have been better? Yes. I don't really agree with how Doom went out, but we need to remember that BR has limited resources because of the metaverse. And the team there are doing the best that they can. That's very important to note, and this is something that I always champion because I know we've been getting, and the channel's been growing, very thankful for that. But with the channel growing, I've been getting a lot more comments about how I just completely dismiss any criticism. That is not the case at all. I dismiss stupid criticism. I always champion healthy criticism, but what this community does is not give healthy criticism. They give hateful, brainless criticism. You can find healthy criticism in there, but at this point in the community online, they're few and far in between. Like Restro, I always support respectful and valid criticism. I am very here and open to hearing different opinions, okay? If anybody says anything differently, you're wrong. Let's continue on with what Restro had to say. That being said, there's also another live event at the end of this season, and it's most likely a full-length one. So, we're in for a big treat. The events have only been getting better from Chapter 5 Season 1, so give them more time and let them cook. I think that's important to note, too, for everybody hating Chapter 5, and I'm somebody who doesn't like a lot of what Chapter 5 has done. They've been getting better. Each season in Chapter 5 has been better. Like, depending, I'd have to really think about it, but regardless, Season 1 was the least, then Season 2, I like Season 3, and Season 4 was even better with everything that we've been getting right now. I'm very confident and hopeful for what's to come in Chapter 6 with Epic Games and the role that they're on right now. I'm just praying that it's not because Disney is involved with this season. That's the reason we're getting everything. I think that's a valid worry, and I hope that I'm wrong. Let's continue on to Restro's post. By the way, I just want to express how grateful I am for the team for making a cinematic for this event because I love cinematics. They add so much more to the story, and this one was so beautiful. Without a doubt, it made me like the event a lot more. That's exactly how I feel about it as well. Like, it really brought out the event. Like, man, just the eerie feeling about it, the music, they did such a good job in presenting Doom and the way he was walking up, like Jones almost dying. They touched on that. Hope saving the day, having the Captain America moment, but she was powerless, but at the end of the day, she struck Doom just a little bit. Like, I thought it was incredible. And that teaser, by the way, like, I was so worried when I first saw it too, because we had that same thing in Fracture. Like, it's like, okay, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then nothing happened in Fractured, right? But guys, the conversation doesn't have to end there because we do have more Twitter drama to talk about, and that's what I'm here on the channel to bring you to. So I want to bring you to 2 videos, one being Twitter drama with Loot Station recently. People are hating on that guy, and another video down here, what everything that Epic Games needs to do to make Chapter OG great. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care.